All right, so thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate you being here today. My name is Deb. I am the founder of Find Calm here, and we take you from chaos to calm with conversations around all things that can help you and support you to finding more calm. Today, we're going to be talking about creative expression, and our partner, Find Calm Here partner, Janet, is going to lead us in some activities around how we can incorporate creativity in our life and in how that helps us bring calm. So I'm going to toss it over to Janet.
Okay, well, thanks, Deb. So glad to be here. I really love that you created the Find Calm Here community. And I think this is really beneficial. And I think there's a lot of people that you have in the community that have a lot of great things to share. So I'm always excited when I can come and be a participant in one of the sessions. So thank you. And I'm excited to lead us through a little chit chat and activity. So I literally would love to begin with an activity. So I'll just ask one more time. Sandy, do you feel comfortable turning your camera on?
Yeah, well, it's just I'm cooking, so I'm gonna be running in and out of the living room. Yeah, so that's why let me finish cooking and then I'll come back and I'll turn on my camera.
Okay, well, then I'll call out your name and hopefully you can give me an answer. But what we're going to do, a real quick icebreaker activity, but it's an icebreaker for our creativity, not about for like, who are you? But a little bit about me. So I'm Janet, I'm old, and I've been doing creative stuff since I can literally remember when I was 5 years old. So I was creating dance routines on my friend's swing set, wearing leotards. I was sitting behind the couch in the living room with an old-fashioned tape recorder, interviewing invisible people, creating my own talk show. I would turn a variety of the rooms in the house into a whole variety of different things. Of course, schools, and of course, other houses, and of course, the doctor's office. Big imaginative play going on with me. So I moved on to doing theater formally when I turned 10. And then when I turned 12, I started teaching formally, which I know that's like, what? How can you be a teacher at 12? I know. It was back in the days when there were one-room schoolhouses and it was just me and all these little kids in a schoolhouse. I'm kidding, I'm not that old. But I really was like creating lesson plans and creating manipulatives and tactile bulletin boards in my church and teaching kids younger than me about the Bible stories. And then I went on to school and I got my degree in education, focusing on elementary and early childhood. And then I got my master's in theater education, where I focused on taking theater into the classroom to help open up the traditional curriculum in a more imaginative way, so that it actually had more of a personal connection for the kids, the students. And yes, so we'll just leave that there. Now let's play our game. Here we have a whiteboard. Here we have a pen. I'm going to ask you to tell me what to do with it. Not naughty, like those Zoom bombers would have said. Okay, so I'm just gonna start here. So Liz, do you want me to curve up or curve down? I need you to unmute, please. And Priscilla, you unmute, and Deb, you unmute.
Does it have to be a curve?
Yes, those are your options. Curve up or curve
down. Curve
what?
down.
Curve down. Priscilla, do you want me to go diagonally up or diagonally down?
Diagonally up.
Deb, do you want me to go horizontal to the left or to the right?
Horizontal.
That's going to be my left or my right, because I'm a little dyslexic when it comes to that.
My left.
I'm not going to be able to do that, friend. Just say left or right.
Right.
Okay. Hello, Sandy. Do you want me to do curly down or curly up?
Do a curly down, because I don't think you have room for up.
Okay, Liz, do you want me to go straight up or straight down?
Straight up.
Okay, Priscilla, do you want me to curve up or curve down?
Curve down.
Deb, do you want me to go diagonally up or diagonally down?
Diagonally up.
Sandy, do you want me to go left or right? And it's going to be my left or right because, you already heard my disclaimer.
Go your left.
What is your name again? It's Liz. Liz, do you want me to curly to up or curly down?
Curly up.
Like that. There we are. Okay, Priscilla, do you want me to go left or right?
Right.
Up or down, Deb?
Down.
And Sandy, do you want me to go diagonally left or diagonally right?
Go right.
Okay. There we did. So we created an image with no thought behind it. So now I would like to ask you, what does the entire image I'm going to say those words again. What do you see in this image? What do you see in this image? One thing, like the whole image creates blank.
I see should I tell you? Are we saying?
Well, just remember the whole image creates this. You're not seeing like one little piece inside the image. You're seeing the sum of the lines. The
So
whole image creates.
if I say it, then it might change other people's what they see.
That's okay, Deb.
But I see a foot that's sideways with lots of toes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I saw that too.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
While it was being drawn, I was like, oh, a slice of pizza. And then when it's all done, like looking at it as a whole, I feel like it just like represents like my misunderstandings of like AC and DC currents, like electricity. I was like, I would call this Tesla in my head.
Sandy, do you see anything that it's created in its whole, as a whole?
I think I saw a piece of cheesecake with the curly lines being the crust. And that thing in the middle that looks like a two, it's kind of like a slice of lemon or something. Yeah.
Garnish, as it were, on the cheesecake.
Yeah.
Priscilla, besides seeing the foot Deb mentioned, is there anything else?
I see the number 2 inside the foot.
So let's do that. What do you see the pieces? And then I also obviously changed the direction in which we're viewing it, or the perspective. So what pieces do you see? Priscilla sees a 2. A while ago, Liz saw a piece of pizza. Is that still true, Liz? I think so.
Me?
Yeah, do you still see a piece of pizza? Because now
Yes,
we're just looking at pieces of the whole.
Yes, so definitely piece of pizza, and really the piece of cheesecake that was described as like the curlicues or the crust, and then for me the pizza that like what's the 2 now kind of was like pepperoni a bit. So like I still very strongly see that, but then the other spot where there's the little curly Q makes me think of a battery. I don't know, maybe that was like the initial thing that so that looks like a battery to me. And then obviously there's like a half circle, like more very literal shape.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're gonna put this away for oh, what do you see now?
It's a castle.
I saw that immediately too. But not until we did this.
Yeah, cool.
I also see a sailboat in this direction and the water and the flag flying at the top of the sailboat. Or that, what is it called? The crow's nest at the top of the boat or whatever.
Yes.
Anything else, friends? Yes, Deb?
No, I was just gonna say I see the sailboat now. It took me a little while.
I see a
see
gown.
a volcano.
Oh, a volcano from Sandy or Priscilla? I'm sorry.
That was me.
Oh, Priscilla, a volcano. So create, oh, I'm sorry, Sandy?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I see a gown with the curlies being like, you know, the flow of the dress, or like, yeah, with like a train in the back, and then like the top, the three tiny curlies are kind of like a tiara or a crown.
Sure. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness, you all are so imaginative. And you know what is so beautiful about this exercise? I thought it up back in the day teaching young children. They were probably in second grade and they needed to fill some time. And we had a board in the classroom that, you know, was almost the length of the wall. And we took up the entire board. And then they would do creative writing out of that experience, or they would do storytelling out of that experience, either from the whole or the pieces. And, you know, and we could look at, you know, spatial relationships and all that good stuff in the classroom. But our discussion today is find calm through creative expression. What was one thing you had to do to open yourself up to see pieces or to see images inside these lines, or to see images made, an image made out of all the lines? What did you have to do? What did you find yourself doing?
Trying to look at the picture at a different angle.
Yes, and that really became evident when I flipped the board and we all started to see things from another perspective.
Mhm.
But our imagination and our creativity starts to spark when we kind of look at things from another angle, as Priscilla said, or through a different lens. What was something else you found yourself doing to find an image, either just out of the pieces or the whole thing made one image?
I don't really know. I kind of just went with whatever jumped in my mind at first glance. And like first I saw the cheesecake. Like once I saw the cheesecake, it's so hard to not see it. And I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm just gonna go with cheesecake.
Oh, yeah. So being open to what your imagination tells you, and then not censoring it. And then also knowing that our brains like to catalog and categorize everything we see, so that what Sandy is saying, you know, once you see it, you can't stop seeing it because our brain is already like cataloged it. Liz or Deb, did you notice anything your brain or your self was doing?
I guess it's kind of like trying to like turn off the part of my brain that like heard curlicue and like diagonal, and just like not see the parts that were there, but like what it actually did turn into.
So to be open, because I used like my own little terms for the lines, right? And so Liz, what I hear you saying is like, as Liz's brain is not listening to the name of the line, but actually letting that go now and seeing what the line's created and being open. Finding calm through creative expression. So I know a little bit about Liz and creativity and creative expression. I know a little bit about Priscilla, but not a whole lot. So Priscilla and Sandy, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being super creative and like having a huge imagination, and 1 being, I'm not creative at all and I don't even know what an imagination is. Where do you fall, Priscilla and Sandy?
Probably a 4.
Priscilla's at a 4. Okay.
For me, it kind of depends on what. Like, I cannot draw, but so like if we're talking about drawing, then I'm like a 2 or 3 maybe. But then if we're talking about like writing or anything, you know, like writing stuff, then I would say a 4.5.
Okay. Okay, great. Liz, do you want to give yourself a number?
I think I very deeply appreciated Sandy like kind of qualifying it, because I just in terms of like knowing my limits and stuff, and like knowing where I am creatively. So I feel like as far as like what happens like in my head, that number versus like what like I like churn out, there's like would be a discrepancy there. It's just like so 3.7. Is it of 5 to 10 or to 10?
To 5.
To 5. 3.7 I feel like is like my average creativity output versus in
Cerebral?
the bureaucracy. Yeah, cerebral, yes.
Okay. Deb, where do you put yourself?
Yeah, I kind of agree with like quantifying it. Like I am not hands, like my creating things with my physical hands are not so great. Like I can't do drawing, and I have a hard time like just putting things together, things like that. But creativity wise, with creating photographs or creative writing and doing that kind of creativity, so I feel like I'm at like a 3.2 or something like that, because I think there's still a lot of growth available for like expanding the ideas and then putting those ideas into action. I think those components, bringing it to life.
You bring up a great point, Deb. Expanding our ideas and putting those ideas into action allows us to be more creative and in more creative realms. We could debate that whole little like word usage, creative realms, but expressions of creativity. Hey, now we kind of heard from Sandy and Deb a little bit, but since we're a small group, let's go around and share, where do you feel your creativity lives, or where or what action demonstrates your wealth of creativity? Or I'm going to stop talking. Sometimes I just talk too much.
Can you give us an example?
Yes. So here are mine. So you all know I'm a theater person, but in the world of theater, my creativity is most apparent when I'm doing devised theater, which is creating theater from nothing, and it becomes some sort of production. And then that is married with improv theater, which, you're doing theater with no script at all and spontaneous, immediately in the moment. But playback theater, which is also improv theater, but it's deep listening, story based, and you're doing it for people who are telling the stories, and it's for entertainment, but it often becomes very much for their soul. That's just the way playback theater works. So that's where I'm feel I'm most creative, but I'm also really creative when it comes to creating stories, like fiction stories. Even though I'm like of the world of live storytelling and getting people to tell their own true stories, I personally love creating fiction stories. And I'm also, I find my creativity lies in creating mandalas, not like the monks of Tibet, because I don't have all that sand, but it's with paper and pen and things. So that's where my creativity lies. Do you want to share, Priscilla?
Yeah, I feel like I pretty much tend towards the writing aspect for creativity. So I guess my hands, my head, my heart. I think they all go into whenever I create stories or write from personal experiences.
Yes. Sandy, what kind of writing do you do, or where does your creativity lie?
Well, I used to do fan fiction. I used to write fan fiction, but that was like a long time ago. I mean, I like writing, and then now I kind of moved on to like blogging, just writing things I found interesting or stories that I came across, and I feel like, oh wow, this is so interesting. I want to share it with my friends on Facebook or wherever.
and as in where my creativity lies. I'm not really sure how to answer that. Yeah, but I feel
Yeah.
like
Dancing?
I want to dancing. I don't know, like maybe. Well, I pole dance, so a lot of times we do this exercise called free dancing. Yeah, so I guess we just turn on the music and then we just dance to the flow and all that. So yeah, I guess maybe dancing as well.
Priscilla, thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Priscilla, what genre does your writing generally fall under, or do you have several? Because Sandy sparked this thought when she mentioned fan fiction was where she kind of started to explore her writing.
Yeah, well, I do some blogging as well. So I would say it really stems from personal experiences. Like I'll talk a lot about like places that I traveled to and just things that are going on in my life, things that are on my mind, the time that I'm doing the blog post.
Yes.
So I pretty much will do that. And then also just like journalistic writing, like I, contribute to the Berg here. So just talking about things that are going on in the neighborhood, like different community events and art happenings and things like that. So those are probably the two that I pretty much focus on.
Right. But I mean, there has to be nuance in that or no one's going to read it, right? Even though it's factual and things going on, there has to be a creative way of putting all that information together that makes us want to read it, right?
Right, exactly.
Yes. So what about you, Liz P. Curtis?
Well, I also want to say thank you for your work with the Berg, Priscilla. I read that every month because I have to make sure I get my mother a copy every month. So I enjoy it very much. So I guess like comedy is sort of like where that's sort of the obvious spot, but I don't know. I don't like, I'm just going to say like for like 2020, like it's kind of like I've thrown everything topsy-turvy for everybody all the time. I understand. And then like one of the things for me has just been like, oh, well, like I want to like kind of like output what I feel, and I don't feel funny. I don't feel enthusiastic or anything like that because the world is ending as we know it, And so I guess then like I feel like my like main strengths lie in visual things, which those are at least the things that I take the most pride in, and they're not things that I do a lot or out there because I generally just try to like do things for other people. So I don't know, maybe my thing is like, and this is sort of like an offshoot of comedy too, is just like trying, like my creative energies goes towards like making people happy. That sounds like, so I understand how like fucking like sensitive, bougie that sounds, or like whatever. It's not how I mean it. Just more just kind of like I need to have a purpose for something, and so whatever suits the thing. Because I do a lot for like my job too. That is like more like the visual stuff. Because you're like, Liz, what visual things have you ever done? And like stuff at work and like those kinds of things are all very visual. And I was talking about my like Instagram account, which is obviously very, very important. But anyway, it's not. I know that. But anyway, so that's my answer. It's convoluted because I'm a convoluted person. Sorry.
It's okay, Liz. You bring up a good point that, so Deb, I'm about to jump over to you, dear, but we are all here, the five of us, quite creative people. If someone was to look on from the outside, specifically someone who says, well, I'm not creative, I don't have any creative bone in my body, they would look at what we've been saying about ourselves and say, oh, you're all so creative. But Deb has brought up a point earlier, and Liz just brought up a point. The point that Liz brought up is, sometimes those of us that are creative individuals often feel we can only create if there's a product at the end, or we're doing it for somebody else. So today I want us to explore how finding calm through creative expression takes that pressure off. Deb's point, just to remind you, that she made earlier was she's creative in these certain genres, but she knows, or I put that in, I actually inserted that word, she knows, Deb. that's what I took from what you said, that Deb knows that she has many ideas that aren't always coming to fruition because her creativity seems to be falling in just certain pockets or groups. Is that correct, Deb? Did I paraphrase correctly?
Yeah, I think it's also about bandwidth and ability to take it, put those ideas into action. We would all like to do all of the things. We might have 17 amazing ideas about that are awesome and creative and share and bring joy to the world or do things, Find Calm Here is one of them for me, but it's just, you can't do it all. So it's like, I feel like that limits you on what creatively expands, because then once you open yourself up, like you're saying, then even more creativity expands. Visually is where I identify with, not just being a photographer, but being somebody who just enjoys images and pictures, and I put vision boards together.
Yes.
Frozen? Okay. You were frozen. Did I freeze? No.
Yeah, you're frozen, but we can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, you're good now.
Okay. So yeah, visually is where I kind of feel like my spark is. Does that answer?
Yes. Yes. So let's move along. I'm going to go through our session a little differently because you fought for, I think, well, just from what you said, are pretty comfortable with a fairly high degree of creativity within yourselves. So I'm going to adapt it a little bit and go through things that you might not need. I'm going to jump over those. But I would like to ask you, and Liz brought this up because it's the year 2020, and Deb created this amazing community, Find Calm Here, because even in the most tranquil year, when was that ever? We aren't always calm. And if we can develop practices that help us recenter ourselves into our calm state, then we can obviously be at peace with ourselves and with the environment in which we live, but we can also hopefully be more productive, however that may look. My one college student said, stop with the word productive. So it's not about, checking things off your list. It's about moving forward in your life the way your soul needs to move forward, that kind of level of productive. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to ask you guys to think about before I do, what's your level of calm on like a day to day, and then we are in September, almost about to end it. How does this September month compare to August's calm? Think on that, okay? Did that make sense?
I was going to ask you, like, in this very moment, are we addressing, or like, is it overall, like today, or you're asking expanded?
All of those things. How calm have you been over this month? How calm have you been over this week? Today is Wednesday. How calm have you been in relationship to last month's calm? How calm are you?
That's a good journal.
Just think about that.
Yeah. I got you. That's a good journal prompt too.
Okay, if you feel you want to do that. Wait, how do I get our friend on my little screen? So I'm sharing. Can you guys see the screen I'm sharing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
What keeps us from a state of calm? And you can read those statements to yourself. Deb created this Find Calm Here community, in my understanding, this is how Janet sees it, as a way to build my self-practice to live more often in a state of calm. But building that practice is something I have to be responsible to do. And I'm not always on top of that. So, anybody want to share how your state of calm has been?
So I will say, I'll go first. So there's a huge part of me, that see, I'm just being very, very honest. See, calm is like not a weakness per se, but like not a goal. Because if you're calm, then it's kind of this like complacency, contentment, like it is a little synonymous with things that I don't agree with. And I am fortunate my job is having me do these this year we're going through some trainings on compassion resilience, and we just talked about compassion fatigue, and we had to like commit to some things based on that, and it kind of like did this like flip in my head, and it helped me a little bit with calm as an idea, because it was like the thing that I wound up committing to was like negotiating my needs, which I am generally ignore as a person. And so I guess maybe in that way it's that my mind and my body aren't aligned, would be like the thing, like where I get it, I understand, like I respect mental health more than anybody, but like putting it on me is like that's my barrier to calm. And I don't know if I could really tell you the last time I felt very calm, honestly.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And is being calm not a priority on your list because you're focused on other things, other people, or you don't think being calm is an important thing for you to be on a regular?
Just because I feel like it's more, I guess I don't prioritize it because like this, and I understand that part of this is like these negative narratives that I have in my head of just like go, like, and like ignore your own needs. And so, yeah, I think it's kind of more like that. I don't prioritize it. I have not historically, at least. I've had plenty of times of being like lazy, and like I give myself permission to be lazy, but that's not like fulfilling the way that calm is.
Yeah.
So I'm learning.
So Liz, you bring up a better prompt. So Sandy, Priscilla, Deb, you can answer it the way I posted, or you can look at it from the frame that Liz just said. How high do you prioritize creating space for you to be calm? Grammar. How high on your priority list is I will be calm today, or I will create a place that puts me in a state of calm? So you can answer these things any way you want. Would anyone else like to share? And of course you don't have to. But that was, I remember living in Texas in the late 90s, early 2000. And I was definitely of a different time in my life. And I remember going through weeks and weeks and seeing the same person every week who I respected. And I felt that he was very wise and I could learn a lot from. And he would say, "How are you today?" And I just recall regularly, week after week, saying to him, "I just want to be at peace. I just want to have peace." Well, I've journeyed through that. You know, a lot of things happen. But that was like, I didn't even know I could create calm back then.
I think that's pretty powerful. And what Liz kind of said was interesting because it's like, I think for me, chaos meant out of control, and I didn't have the ability to take the initiative to find calm because I didn't know how for a really long time. I didn't know that there's things that I can use, products, or, you know, there's meditation, there's breathing, there's, you know, visualization, there's affirmations, there's journaling, all the things that we talk about in Find Calm here, right? I didn't know about that for many, 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 many years. And then even when I started learning about it in the last few years, I didn't know how to implement it in my life. And I started connecting with people who helped me in that way and, you know, helped implement these things into my life. So when you're talking about it being coming from a place of like calm might mean that, to me, calming is strength, because it actually, it gives you the ability to make a choice in how you react. Because if you can go into a chaotic situation and be that calm in the storm and not be the one freaking out, that's powerful. I'm still working on that one. So I feel like that's what we're trying to do here is create these structures and you know, create these practices and find ways, and everybody kind of goes at it differently. But how do we get to that calm in the storm? So that's kind of what these conversations are all about. And you know, that's why I left my corporate job. That's why I took my
you took a huge
job.
leap. You took a huge leap. You took a huge leap into, I'm going to invest in my desire to live a life of calm by leaving that. Priscilla or Sandy, did you want to touch base, like vocally, about like where calm is on your priority list? Like because I'm looking at the time, but I want to give you a place to speak. Do you want me to move forward?
Oh, for me, I try to put calm like at the top, but then there's always things like, you know, life just comes in and then, you know, throw it overboard, like, and then I don't know. So now like school started for me and I'm taking 3 pretty hardcore classes this semester. So I'm like, okay, every day I have a schedule. So I set my schedule to study, do my homework and all that. And then just when I was feeling pretty good about, you know, doing all that, my parents need something from me, like, because they don't speak English and they're nearing their retiring age. So they need to apply for Medicare, all those governmental benefits and all that. And that just kind of threw the whole thing away. I'm like, oh my God, now I have to deal with this. And then plus I have things due every week for school. I'm like, I'm going crazy. And I hate dealing with, you know, the government, like Social Security Administration and all that. I just hate dealing with them. So yeah, I try to find calm, but then I know there's a storm inside.
Right, and it sounds like one way you find calm is with structure, with having structure in your days. Priscilla, did you want to weigh in anything, or?
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say usually I'm pretty good at maintaining calm. I have different things that I go to so that I can upkeep it, like journaling, watching what I eat, having teas, meditating. Sometimes you hit like these stressful situations, like with work. For me, sometimes that happens. But I feel like when I'm able to go to my outlets, I'm able to maintain the calmness that I know that I'm able to provide for myself.
Priscilla, it sounds like you have some practices already in place that you are committed to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, so let me find out where the cursor is. Oh, here we are. Oh, how do I move things? I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on with my little, oh, there's my thermal point. This the one that I wanted. Oh, this is where I want us to go real quick. I think you guys already get this. You know, people will say creative expression, you know, find calm through creative expression. People immediately think of the arts, but I think you already have the idea that we can find calm through creative expression using many different outlets that are not the traditional arts. But what I do like about this definition on creative expression is it is when we're engaged in something creatively and it's about creative expression, we're giving voice to something inside of us that needs to be heard. And it's coming out through that creative expression, which does not have to be the arts, capital T, capital A. Does that resonate with y'all?
For sure.
Okay. Let's see if this works. Sure. We're gonna go, we're not even gonna, you guys are ahead of that. So this harkens back to our little game we did at the beginning with the board. How to connect with your creativity. So you guys are already you already have a strong foundation in your creativity, but what Deb had said earlier was, and again, I'm paraphrasing Deb, so correct me if I'm wrong. I have all these ideas and I only have so much bandwidth to explore them and develop my creativity in different areas beyond what I'm kind of naturally creative with. And then also what Liz said about, I often, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a sense that I am creative when it's going to benefit another person. It's not necessarily about creating a practice of finding calm through creative expression. So if we wanted to, because Priscilla and Sandy were speaking of kind of having the practice, Sandy with creating structure in her life brings a sense of calm. Priscilla was talking about very specific acts and tools that she pulls on, or that she will do to create a series of calming activities to keep her in a state of calm. But if we want to further develop our creativity, if we want to use creative expression to further deepen our calm, we need to do this. We need to have that spirit of yes, like the open mind you spoke of earlier. We have to look at life for that moment through a willingness to play. We have to be curious. We have to, if we're going to find calm through creative expression, we're going to ask questions. Why? What if? Well, now that I did this, now what? We have to embrace the imperfect if we're going to find calm through creative expression. And this is the part I love the best. And this is why I love doing improv. This is why I love doing playback theater, and why I love doing devised theater, because it's knowing the process in creative expression is more important than the product. It is what you feel going through the process of being creative, and what you learn about yourself in that process. For me, that is just so rewarding. And then from that creates calm. So we're gonna play a little game. Oh gosh, I wanna do so much. I totally wanna do the creative movement because Sandy's a pole dancer, okay? So we're all gonna do some creative movement. Now, how do you guys feel? Because I have all these things we could do. And of course, hello, yes, and friends that do improv, and hello, the Story Cube. So I love them. But we're gonna do creative movement because we've been sitting. Now, besides me and Deb, we have a lot of space behind us. What about y'all? Do you have some space where you can move? And you don't have to be on camera, okay? I am going to stop sharing like my friend Deb told me to do. Deb?
You're good.
Yeah, but then I lost my little thing. Okay, I'm back. I gotta stop sharing. Okay, Liz is already getting up. Priscilla, do you have a place you can move?
Yeah, I can move.
We'll practice our dance moves in the meantime.
Yes. So creative movement. This definitely has no product at the end. You are not performing for anybody. You are not doing this to get anything at the end of it. You are literally letting your body, the imagination inside your body, to move to the music. But I am going to give you some prompts after a while. Okay. Now let's see if you guys.
Now.
What, dear?
I said I'm listening to the music in my head. I'm being silly.
Okay. Let's see if you can actually hear the music. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Is it quiet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Do we
lovely.
need-
That's because I'm not sharing the screen, I bet.
I can hear it fine.
It's very light.
Can you hear it more?
Yeah, I see your screen.
I know now you can see it, right?
I think it's good. Getting some real, maybe I shouldn't say this. I feel like I'm change.
What, Liz?
Oh, the original Justice stuff, I was like a ballerina in a box.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that. But now it's like, are we supposed to move our bodies and not talk?
We're waiting.
Okay,
for
friends. Right now, I just want you to hear the music, and I want you to stand up if you can. If not, you can always use your upper body and your arms. But right now, just walk or move in your space with the music telling you what to do with your legs and your feet. I'm just gonna make the volume a little louder. So everybody is just moving in their space. If your arms aren't moving yet, let them move. If your head's not moving, your neck, let it move. Find a place where your feet are slanted but your body's moving. Close your eyes. Take a breath in and fill up your abdomen area. Let it out. And move. And now I'd like you to think about, and I know I'm asking you to use the word think, but I just want you to, in your mind, the action your body's gonna do is pull. And now take your mind out of it. Using the music, pull. Don't worry about what you're pulling for. Just let your body go through the physical action of pulling.
What if you could scale your service-based business past seven figures while having the time
My
freedom to do what you want
apologies.
when you want?
Isn't that always the way? There's more music coming. Okay, pull. Take up as much space as you can to pull.
And then we got like 3 minutes.
Okay, that's great. Pull from behind you. Pull from above you. Pull from beneath you. Pull with your belly. Pull with your butt.
That was kind of odd. I'm not sure how to do that one.
Don't think about it. Just let your body take control over it. Pull with one of your legs. Stop pulling. Stand still with your feet apart. Put your hands on your belly. Close your eyes and take a breath into your abdomen area and hold it. And let it go. Take a breath into your abdomen area and hold it. And let it go. Open your eyes. Come sit down. Whew. Okay, I don't know about you guys, I was pulling so slowly, but I am like out of breath. Now, what is it you can actually see right now?
Your screen.
Can you see the screen that says let's play?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My first question is, were you able to not think, but just pull? Were you able to allow your body to just do that physical action of pulling?
Just a raise of hands.
Sure. Sandy, no. Was your mind in it a lot? Were you thinking a lot?
Well, I mean, first I was like, well, pull what? Like, what's there to pull? But then I was just like, okay, forget it. I'm just going to go with my own definition.
Good. And so this is what I'm going to leave us with today. How does creative expression create calm? Creative expression is the act of doing. When we allow ourselves just to do the creative work, the creative act, then we're going to find calm in that action. So that's why I said, just let your body go through the act of pulling.
You muted yourself. I want to hear the end of that so much.
How long have I been muted?
Just a few minutes. Sorry. I was
A
pressing
few
the button.
minutes. It was
Few
like
seconds, I mean.
the act of pulling, and then we were all on the edges of our
So the act of pulling is just your body allowing your body to find its own imagination and to go through the physical act of pulling. When your body is completely in it and you can find your breath. See, engage your body first. So even when the friends that are writers, the photographer, the act of being one with your tool and letting your mind just leave, knowing that your mind will come back to make sense of it all, but just being in that moment and being with that creative expression. Because we find calm in the creative expression is this bright pink one, when we trust the process. And that's why I like doing that kind of theater that I mentioned, playback theater or devised theater. The only way you're going to get to, because eventually you want to get to an end product with those two things, the only way you're going to get there is if you trust the process, because you can't control it at all. When you start to control it, the whole thing breaks down and it becomes so contrived. But if we're building a practice to find calm through creative expression, whatever, cooking, dancing, landscaping, gardening, photography, singing, playing a musical instrument, any of those things that we can find creativity, because it sparks our imagination and it says something about who we are. That's all creative expression is. It sparks our imagination, whatever act it is. And it says something about who we are. How many of you in your pulling noticed you were holding your breath? I'll raise my hand. And then I immediately told myself, it's not going to work if you don't breathe. Because I was really pulling something heavy. My body told me it was. But when we come back to the breath through that action, that helps us create calm in our creative expression. It's being in the moment, feeling the expression in your body, and allowing your mind to rest so your mind takes the break, so your mind becomes calm again. And then if you're conscious of your breath during those physical actions, and remember the physical action could be small, it could be embroidering. That is a small physical action. But if you allow your mind to rest and just breathe with that physical action, you're opening yourself up to trusting the process. So I have to leave you guys. I have a bunch of other stuff on these PowerPoints, but here are these two questions. If you're trying to create calm through creative expression, whatever act it is, does it spark your imagination? Does it communicate something about you, who you are? And when we open ourselves up to, like an athlete. Athletes are supposed to play multiple sports, not necessarily all of them in competition, but the more variety of sports an athlete can play, the better athlete they are in their one specific sport. So we as humans we lean towards a creative expression. But the more we experience or explore creative expression through other forms, the more creative we will be in the one that we are most prone to do. And you know I put travel on here for you, Deb. And then I have this, you can, low engagement, these things are low engagement things to do to, foster creative expression. But this is nice. This will help you if you really wanted. So like our friend Liz, who doesn't make a priority about being calm, but she is a very creative person. If she wanted to develop a calming practice of creative expression, she can remind herself that she's going to connect to that, trusting the process and becoming calm when there's an element of accountability, either to self, because your date book, your calendar says now at this time you're going to do creative expression, or you actually have a group you're accountable to. But it's also, it strengthens your ability to trust the process when you keep showing up to do the creative expression. But it's also about the breathing.
Janet?
I know we have to go.
Well, I wanted to ask you.
It's stressing me out.
No. Go ahead, Liz.
Oh, I was gonna say, I just have like a Wednesday night viewing, like online viewing party. I'm so sorry, but are we gonna get these slides in any capacity?
I was just about to say, Janet, could you post the slides up in the Find Calm Here community? And Liz, I don't know if you're in the community yet, but we can get you in there, or I can just have Janet email you the slides.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't want to come here
y'all.
and be a diva. But I'm very happy that I did. Thank you so much, Janet, and thank you, Deb, for organizing everything. It was so nice to see you, Priscilla and Sandy. C/me, where which relevant to. Yeah.
And
Okay.
thank you
so much.
all for coming to play with me. So bye, Liz. I know you got to go. And I do apologize. I always plan more than there's time for. That's how I've always been in my teaching. But yes, I can share this with the community. Deb, you'll let me know how I go about doing that.
Yep, it's pretty simple. You just upload the PDF in the little plus button, but I can show you.
It's a PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a upload. It's
okay.
Like you upload to Facebook or anything else.
Okay.
Pretty easy, but I can show you if you want. Thank you guys for being here next week. Jen, if you want to stop sharing your screen, because what I like to do with is ending with everybody kind of on screen and like waving bye as we leave. But I just want to mention next Wednesday is Find Calm with CBD with our Find Calm Here partner, Heidi. She's from Montana. She's going to talk to us about her company and her products. And then the following week, we have Find Calm with Location Independence. The next month, coming up in October, we have a lot of really, really great speakers. So we've got some speakers for, we've got one for public speaking, and then there's going to be at the end of the month, I just booked it and I didn't put it up yet, but it will be up soon. We're going to do one on journaling with Stephanie, who has been in this community very often. So that's a preview of what's to come. Exciting stuff here in Find Calm Here. Thanks all for joining and giving us your moment. Thanks, Janet, so much for sharing some creativity and getting us to kind of spark some of that creativity in our lives.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for playing and sharing so much, everybody. I hope you learned something. Wow.
It was fun.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you.